Hello, friends of Private Universe. Today, you're in for a treat. I have a very special guest, Bill Lennon, 90 years of age, jumped out of a plane with a parachute, of course, and conquered his fear of heights. An amazing, inspirational story of courage and hope. My talk is in 3 parts. This is the first part. I caught up with him at my studio and I asked him about his bucket list.
How I first got the, I was on my bucket list, but I was out of McDonald's at West Gosford and I waiting for a friend of mine. He was coming up from Woorwoo to meet me, and I was a bit early, so I thought I'd get one of those toasted ham and cheese sandwich and a coffee while I'm waiting for him. And I went over the counter, and this young girl, no more than 15, she never had a left hand.
Right.
She only had a stump. I didn't ask her. I thought at first she might have been a thalidomide baby, but I didn't ask her. And I said to her, told her what I wanted, and I said, well, I'm going up to do a skydive soon. She said, oh, I'd love to come with you. But my parents wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
And anyway, I ordered me, and I said, I went to get the tray to take over where I was going to sit down, and she said, no, I'll bring it out. And she came out, and she had the tray balanced on her arm with no.
Wow.
And my coffee, which, quite. She could have spilled it easy. Man, she came out and I said, thanks very much. That said, no, that's all. Don't worry about it. And when my friend came, I said, see that young girl over there? He said, yeah. I said, she just came out carrying that tray on her arm. And I said, she's so inspiring.
Mm.
And anyway, I went home. And I thought I was always going to have a go at a skydive. And she was my inspiration. I rang up straight away. That was on a Thursday. I saw her. Then on a Friday morning, I rang up the skydive crowd and booked the skydive.
Wow!
And then I went up that was on the Friday. On the Tuesday, I went up and had me skydive. That was the first one. All through that I thought to myself, that young girl was so positive in her attitude. Mm. I thought, I'm going to do it. I was on my bucket list, but she sort of inspired me to make it up to do it,
Yeah, yeah.
And after I'd done that one, I told my kids I was going to do it. And they said, oh, Dad, you're too old. You'll hurt yourself. Something go wrong. So that's when I told my eldest daughter up in Queensland, and that's when she said, go and ring the cardiologist up and see if it'll affect my pacemaker. So I did, and that's when he said, go for it.
Wow.
So they didn't know I did it. My wife knew I did it, Christmas Eve. And I said to her, do you want to come up with me? She said, no, I don't want to see you get hurt. So we went out to my youngest daughter's place for Christmas lunch at Terry on Christmas Day. And we were having those nibblies before we started.
Right.
And I said, oh, somebody gave me this little, I don't know what you call them, memory stick or something.
Yep. And
I've got a big computer. I said, well, you put it in the computer. So we all retired in there to see what was on it. And up come me, and my daughter said, what have you done? So straight away, my son-in-law, my daughter, granddaughters and all, oh, Pop, you're our hero. But when I come back after Christmas, I said to my wife, we've been married 66 years last June. a long time together. And I said, I met this chap. I hardly knew him, but he was such a positive sort of a fella. And I said, how are you going? He said, not too good. I said, why? He said, I went to the doctors and the doctor said I should have come 5 years earlier. He said, I've got prostate cancer right through my body. He said, I'm going to die. So then I went home and I said to my wife, I'm going to do another jump for this cancer council for men and men's prostate cancer. And so that's, I went out to the cancer council at Erina Fair, got a shirt, got all the credentials and everything, and I got together some sponsors, and I went up to do my skydive, and I thought, when I rang them up, I said, I don't want to do one, I want to do two. Right. They said, what, in the same day? I said, yep. So we went up. The first one was 9:10, and the second one was 10:20. I said, you haven't even given me a chance to change my underpants. But they all knew, the ABC at Gosford knew I was going to do it, so they've got in touch with Newcastle.
Yes.
And they had a camera there, a journalist, NBN television over there, a camera, a journalist.
Whoa.
I was in Newcastle Herald. They wrote up three-quarters of a page of it about the skydive.
Excellent.
And I've got them, lots and lots of coverage. Everybody was watching me.
Of course.
And when you go up in the plane, the inside of the plane is like there's not many seats.
Right.
And I'm sitting on the floor, like a steel floor. You don't see the pilot. Right. And the instructor's, he's hooked on the back of me. And there was four like myself and four instructors. And I was second out. The second one was still scary, but not as bad as the first one. And the third one, I enjoyed that. I had my arms spread out like a seagull. You free fall for 60 seconds.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's the longest minute I've ever felt in my life. But when the chute opens, the harness turns into a type of seat. And then we were floating all over Port Macquarie. It took about 7.5 minutes all told. But when you're coming down and when you land, I was still high up, but I was game. I was looking down. The other time I was looking up at the sky all the time. Sure. But I could see everybody on the third jump. As we're coming down, I'm giving them the thumbs up and all this stuff. I done it all right, and they couldn't get over it. There's a lot of Asian women, girls that go up, but the Asian men don't. Okay. They wait down on the ground. They don't go up. On the first jump I did, there was an Asian guy there with a iPad or something. He was taking the film of going up and coming down. He shook my hand and he said, "You have made my day."
It might encourage him to do it.
No, it's the girlfriends or whatever.
Right, yeah. Interesting.
They wouldn't do it.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. But There's a lot of Asians do it now.
Yeah. It's the in thing now, and a lot of tourists that come to Australia like to do it in Australia and New Zealand because it's a bit of it's a bit of a thing with New Zealand, obviously bungee jumping and so forth. And in Australia, we have such good security records with planes, especially, that a lot of people come to Australia and want to do it here.
Yeah, that's right. That's what a couple of the Asian girls said to me, that, do you mind if we get a photo with you?
Like said, a rock star.
That's what I felt like, a rock star. And I thought to myself, I should have brought some photos of myself and signed them and charged them.
Why not?
Maybe
next time.
I didn't want to sort of big note myself of what they say, you know.
Yeah.
But all I wanted was that girl that inspired me, young girl, that inspired me the first time. I haven't told a lot of people why. I told people I had it on my bucket list, and I something I want to wipe off, but she made me do it. She inspired me to do it. And she's got it's a marriage. She has a baby. What can she do to help a baby with one arm?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's a lot of inspiring people out there. Sometimes when you feel that things aren't going your way, these people pop up in our life, and we realise, wow, if they can do it, you know, if they continue to move forward and not allow their issue to affect them, I mean, I'm on a good thing.
That's exactly. I went in ABC after I've done the skydive. Caroline Perriman, she's the journalist there. She said to me, "Bill, you're an inspiration to elderly people that you don't have to sit around and wait for your time to come. You can do anything, and if you're a little bit active, you can do anything you like."
Sure, why not? I mean, and you're 90 years of age, and you did this twice in one day. That's amazing, Bill.
Yeah, I've done it twice. Dick Smith, he sponsored me, and Dick Smith's done everything. Mm-hmm. He's flying around the world on his own. He's hot air balloon across
He's an amazing man, isn't he?
He's flown under the harbour bridge, but he's never done a skydive.
Oh, really?
So I thought if I do two in the same day, I'll set the bar high for him.
And for all of us too. I mean, it's a lot of people think about it, and it's on many people's bucket list, isn't it? Yeah. But to actually do it, Bill, that's great.
I'd love to do it, but I'm not game or something like that. But I'll tell you one thing: I would never do a bungee jump.
Oh yeah.
My sinews are getting old. I'm terrified when I hit that bottom. My ankles will go back up, but the rest of my body will hit the ground.
Yes, right. It is. I've never done the bungee jumping either, but as you know, I have done the skydive, and I also I did it for my 50th. My children bought me the ticket, so to speak, and then I decided to, a bit like you, to do a bit of a thing about it and do it for depression. So, and I tell you, Bill, it's wonderful, isn't it?
It's the most exhilarating and scary feeling that I've ever had. That 1 minute free falling.
Yeah.
And the wind, as you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
200 kilometres an hour.
That force on your face, and it's crazy. But it's, like you said, very few times in our lives we'll feel that.
Yeah.
And the extreme, because in our lives we don't really experience extreme emotion all the time, and that's one of the times that you can actually structure it and be able to experience something so incredible, because throughout daily life we moderate our feelings, our emotions and so forth. But to do something like that, it's hard enough at any age. But Bill, at 90 years of age, you're an inspiration not only for elderly people but for anyone.
My doctor said to me, Bill, you're that healthy. There's no reason you won't live to 100. I said, I want you to keep me alive to 103. He said, why? I said, there's a woman in South Australia, 102, set the world record for skydiving. And I said, I want to get that record. And then he said, that's a pretty good thing to put up on the wall, on your bucket list. You want to live to 103? And he said, he said, the brain's a very marvellous thing. It tells you what to do, and you say, oh, no, I don't want to. It's like,
yes,
I've never taken a headache tablet in my life, a powder or anything.
Really?
And he said, that's great. He said to me, your brain will tell you you've got a headache. And he said, I'll just tell her back that, no, I haven't. And you don't want it.
Isn't that incredible?
It's a
but it's true.
It's true. Well, he told me that a long while ago.
Yeah.
And that's what I live by. I've been going the same doctor now for about 10 to 12 years, just for checkups and that,
Sure.
And flu needles, and I get those flu. But I've had a couple of falls, but I've never really broke a limb or anything like that. I've never broke a bone in my life, and I'm 90 years of age. I've been extremely lucky, Carlos, and that's the way I've.
And you've done a lot in your life too, so there was ample opportunity for you to break something, but you didn't.
No.
Because you had some tough jobs in your life too.
Yeah, I've had tough jobs. I've worked in abattoirs for a long while. I've done meat carting. I've cut sugar cane and all that stuff. And many of the time I've been in a situation drinking, just minding myself, a couple of mates just having a beer when one place in Queensland, they were having a quiet beer there, and the next minute this big fella broke a schooner glass, and he said, I'm going to do you the Boggle Road way or something or other, their prison.
Right.
And I thought, so I just stepped back, And the lady, the hotel publican or whatever they call them,
yeah,
she come from around the bar and took the glass off that bloke.
Good
just come there before he got a chance to use it on his mate or the bloke he was arguing with. She just took it out of his hand.
Wow,
like
that's a tough woman.
I thought that was, a very, very tough lady to do that.
Yeah, and they were tough times too, wasn't they?
Up there.
What period was that? What year was that, do you think?
That was in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was in the 80s?
No, that was in the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Yeah. 60s. I'll be right in a moment. I've got to get my memory going backwards. I was married in 1952.
Right, okay.
I was still up in Queensland. I'm actually going back to the 40s.
Wow. Well, that is one tough woman.
Yeah.
But it isn't incredible how time is relative when we think about it. 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, just a number, and it feels so much closer. I do that too. I think, when was that? And then I realised, hang on, the memory's so clear that it seemed a lot closer, but time goes by very quick, Bill.
I don't know what it is too. I've got a brilliant long-term memory.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was 5 and what school I started and what street we lived in. I don't know the number of the home we lived in.
Yeah.
But I go I can go back to 5.
5. Was that in Queensland or here?
In Sydney.
You were born in Sydney. So where were you born, Bill?
But I was born in Crown Street Women's Hospital in Sydney.
Oh, yeah. Is that the Paddington's Women's Hospital? Used to be called or something like that? No. Was that called the Paddington's Women's Hospital?
Yeah, that was it. Paddington Women's Hospital. That was the big and only one.
That's right. Yeah, my first son was born there. So, but it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, they closed that down. So you were born there, and then you lived in the heart of Sydney, obviously. Yeah.
We lived in. Well, all I can remember. I know I was born at Paddington, and all I can remember was I was 4-year-old in 1930s. I was born in 29, and 33, I think we were living in what they call a cardboard village.
Right.
Because the big recession of the 1933 worldwide recession, and nobody had there was people just walking out of their homes, couldn't afford them. And my parents were renting someplace, I think around the area of Alexander or somewhere. All I remember was we were at, I start to remember my eldest brother and I, there was only 2 of us then, I looked up a program, I remember a lot about it. I heard about a program that the ABC Four Corners had done. It was called Bread and Dripping. And I thought, I'll look up that. I taught myself how to use a computer, it's sort of one finger typist,
Yeah.
But I looked up that, and it was all of these women talking about, and there was some photos, old black and white photos of this cardboard village, just little humpies made out of cardboard at La Perouse.
Okay.
And how we got by. The fishermen at La Perouse way, the salmon fishermen, they used to give us. So the lady on the Bread and Dripping show said they used to get the salmon off and fish off the fishermen they didn't want, and they had a Chinese market garden, and he used to supply them with vegetables. Even though we never had any butter or anything like that. We never had shoes, really. Never had hand-me-down clothes, things are that bad. It's a very, very interesting program, but unfortunately I've told people about it and they haven't bothered to look at it, and it's a part of history.
That was the charming Bill Lennon talking candidly about his life. Stay tuned for part 2 of this wonderful and inspirational talk. My friends of Private Universe, talk soon.